everyone. Welcome to the intro of episode 46 of the podcast. I'm Chris.
So close to 52. My name's Phil.
I know.
Should I announce now that I retire at 51? On today's episode.
Yeah, we talked a lot of news.
Yeah. News, games we're playing.
Yep. Just standard stuff. Stuff I played. Thomas Was Alone.
I started the Escapists. I don't give any spoilers because it's one of our games, but I kind of give very rough first impressions.
And then I talk about Batman Arkham Knight for a while.
Yeah, and I talk about Final Fantasy and some last minute Turok stuff.
But I think there was a lot of good news articles in both out of the industry and some personal news, and I think that's probably the best part of the episode. I'm just
once you get to the news and it's over,
yeah,
you can cut it off. You know what we're going to say about the other things.
Right. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Rate and review us on iTunes and subscribe there too.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yep.
I mean, I'll have my phone. I'll see if I can find it. But otherwise, we can begin the.
We gotta get Caitlin in here to do this intro.
Just use your old intro.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, they talk about some stuff, and then I'm there.
Yeah,
and we just have to keep cutting in her talking about
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay,
Thank
yeah. We finally got an intern on the show. The robot had another assist last episode. I don't know if you listened to it.
No. I listened to the episode, but I'm trying to think of where the assist was.
I couldn't think of Nolan North's name.
Oh, that's right. Nolan North.
And it was bothering me because the second we stopped recording, I remembered the names I couldn't think of. But yeah, I mean, if he's getting more and more assist in the episode, maybe we'll have him on as a guest or something.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Just type out all the great answers. I love to have the sex.
Yep.
I am doing it right now.
To your face.
You are a douchebag.
Power drive. That's how you're saying everything. It's like every syllable is its own word.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to the episode. I'm Chris.
And I am Phil.
I guess we'll just jump right into some news, as always. Just right into it.
No time to waste. No chit-chat. No, because
you got two news items this time. So
two newses.
Yeah, we don't want to go long.
No, yeah.
So we gotta get right into them. Yeah.
They're doozies.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. News.
All right. Why don't you give us your first news?
Actually, I have 2.5.
Oh,
I just
it keeps growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm gonna almost hit 3.
Yeah.
The first one, not super big news, but there is now a petition, as there are petitions for everything.
Of course.
For PlayStation to get a better online service. Just today was the news article that I read, which today is a date that was in the past when you were listening to this.
Yep.
But it's basically like it's picking up steam on Reddit and Twitter and blah blah blah. I can't remember the hashtag, but it's something like, a gazillion people are demanding that PlayStation kind of steps up its online service to be a little bit closer to Microsoft's.
Because not only has it not been it doesn't have as many features, and it's not as social as Xbox Live.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it happens all the time, but the last week especially, there's been a lot of outages.
Yeah, it goes down a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
they gave, I don't want to say a list of demands, because that makes it sound like they're actually going to do something if Sony doesn't fix it. But they kind of gave a list of, features that they want, and one of them's, stuff like Microsoft has, where it's being able to go invisible while you're online, so people don't bother you, being able to categorize your list of friends into different categories, not going out as much, being able to get notification when someone's online or when they're not online, and I mean a lot of this stuff is this should be kind of basic functionality for an online network where you're going to be playing games with other people. You'd want some sort of notification that goes hey, my brother's online playing this game.
Right.
That would be great. I also have this game. Those are things that you think would just be built in.
I certainly think that those features are not hard to implement. But at the same time, I don't think they should just straight up copy Xbox Live.
No, and that's always kind of the issue, is obviously a lot of these people, and probably that signed the petition, or might have been people who jumped ship, who went from 360 to a PlayStation 4, and they're just like, oh man, I kind of miss all those features. So it's kind of hard you want to implement those features, but they also need to do them in a unique enough way where it's not just like a straight up copy, where now it's just like, you get a little bloop, and then it's just like JoJo signed online. Like, you don't want it to be a straight copy, but it's also like, I agree with them that there are certain features, maybe, some you can kind of push to the background. You're like, you don't really need that. Going invisible, just unplug your network.
Well, I think the hardest feature to fix, not even feature, but I think it's the most important, is the fixing the going down all the time. Like, that's what needs to be fixed.
That should be priority number one. It should be like, if they're just like, hey, great, we added the fact that now you can go invisible or go away. Like, well, you're still down every week.
Right. It doesn't really matter. I'm away for everyone all the time.
I'm never online.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, like, there's no comment from Sony, and there probably won't be unless they decide to, like, put this on their back and be like, yes, we are fixing these things. And then they'll draw attention to it. Otherwise, there'll always just be no comment.
Right.
So you can look up that and sign a petition if you want. It's not going to anyone who's listening, petitions don't do shit.
I don't know. I mean, Mass Effect 3 ending.
I don't know if that was a petition or just a bunch of really loud.
Well, there was a petition, but I'm sure I don't know if that was the only factor in it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I've signed so many online petitions from like when I was 16 to now that none of them have ever come to fruition.
Right.
It's like, I think AOL Instant Messenger should be cooler, and just like, well, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I can't wait till Netscape comes out with its new browser.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, 80 billion people thought that porn should be free. It's like, well, it's not. You gotta pay for the good stuff.
Well, I mean,
the good stuff.
You're still paying for porn? This is something I want to talk about.
I'm not paying for it.
Okay.
I have a wife.
Yeah, okay.
No, she's not real.
All right, and then I guess I'll jump in with one of my news items.
Don't take mine.
I don't know, is it about Mad Catz?
No.
Okay. So, Mad Catz, who is co-publishing Rock Band 4. Okay. So they've partnered with Harmonix. They're doing all of the peripherals for them. Basically, they were out of money. The bank wanted to take, like, default on the loan, basically.
Yeah.
Because they owed them $20 million. And Mad Catz said, hey, like, our entire company is basically wrapped up in the launch of Rock Band 4, which comes out, not until, I think, October, November. So they're like, can you give us some more time? And the bank surprisingly gave them $30 million then.
I've used that same ploy to the bank all the time.
Just for manufacturing of the instruments and stuff, to then be able to sell the game. Mad Catz, last year, fiscal year, they made $7.4 million.
And they just got 30.
30 on top of the extra 20, the 20 they already got.
Yeah, they're never paying that back.
Right. So basically,
Rock Band 4 can't sell enough for them to do $50 million because they're splitting that money with Harmonix.
Right.
And you can't imagine it's a 50-50
right.
split.
So basically, this is going to be the end of Mad Catz.
Finally.
Yeah.
Mad Catz was great in the 90s when you needed an alternative to controllers.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, they have turbo controllers.
Right. They
like cool
did like
colors.
fight sticks and stuff where nobody else was, or
but ever since, I don't know, probably late Nintendo 64 age, like nobody needs a Mad Catz.
They're so cheap is the problem.
Yeah.
Is like sometimes they don't work out of the box, out of the package, and they're not as durable, so they don't last as long. They always just feel very cheap and hollow.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've always gone to just getting first-party stuff after buying Mad Catz through, like, probably up into the Dreamcast era.
I think the last non-first-party thing is I have one Dreamcast controller that it might be a Mad Catz, it might not. But I also have 8 Dreamcast controllers,
right.
So I had plenty to keep it.
I got the Mad Catz steering wheel and pedals for Dreamcast, and I think that was the last thing I bought.
Yeah. It just like I said, like they they were great at coming up with, like cheap alternatives when you're a kid and like your parents don't care. They're like, you need another controller? This controller's $10 and this controller's $40.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy you the $10 controller so Bobby can come over and play football with you for a day. Like, but now, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's still a need because there's still kids who have Xbox Ones. But
right, but the technology is so sophisticated now.
Yeah, they can't make cheap ones.
Yeah, they can't. It's not back in the day where it's just a square with 2 buttons. Like, that's easy to fake. But yeah, with all the stuff going on inside, there's no way to just, like, pretend that's what it has.
But I mean, like, kind of part of that news makes me a little worried just based on like Mad Cat's history of making cheap things, and now knowing that like the new instruments.
So yeah, are they going to? Are they also? They're going to take down harmonics with them. Is probably what's going to happen.
I mean, I'd hope not.
Right.
I'd hope that like it's kind of just like Rock Band 4. Let's say huge numbers makes $50 million. Probably won't. Let's say it's.
Well, yeah.
Let's say it's a 50-50 split, and so. 25 and 25 back. And then just Mad Catz is just like, I guess we can't pay back the bank. Like, they'll shut down Mad Catz, and granted, if Rock Band 5 ever comes out, they'll have to partner with someone else to make controllers, but I can't imagine like Mad Catz going out of business can hurt harmonics, unless like there's literally no one else who can make peripherals.
Well, if they go out of business, then all of a sudden they stop making all the stuff for Rock Band 4. And even if it's selling well, like, what are they going to do? They can't then support it, and the company doesn't exist. Is there going to be licensing issues with the game? Like, can they not sell any copies of the game anymore until somebody else buys the rights to that? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be this complicated. I think they're going to work it out. I guess the bank was semi-generous in this situation. I don't know if they're betting on them to fail, and that's why they did it.
And so they're just like, here, take more money, because then we can really burn you.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I don't know how business works at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of one of the benefits when you're a bagger at Aldi.
Yeah.
Which I'm not.
He's not. Don't go to Aldi's.
Don't go to Aldi's
looking for Phil. All right, what's your second news story?
Do you want my point 5?
Well, I wasn't sure if it was like a baby that existed because the two news stories came together.
No,
it was like part of it, so...
I mean, it's...
If you can go half first. Yeah, go half first. Go
half?
Yeah.
There was... All of my news comes from articles from other, more reputable news sites. But,
Wait. You're not out there in the field?
I'm not out there in the field, I should just say. But there was an article on Kotaku where a guy... Didn't catch his name.
Whatever.
Probably just Tim.
Yeah.
We'll call him Tim. Went to a bunch of publishers of the top... 100 Xbox 360 demand games that are backwards compatible, because Microsoft has their survey, right? Which games are most, which games do you want the most? He went down to any game that had at least 5,000 votes, made a list of all the publishers, and then called or went to each publisher to say like, hey, like, what games are you planning on making backwards compatible? Have you talked to Microsoft? Have you...
the wheels in motion, basically.
Yeah. And much to his dismay, every publisher
said they haven't heard anything yet.
Has basically said we haven't heard anything. There's some that were just like, we would love to make Darksiders 2 available on Xbox One. But most of them are just like, we've had conversations, but nothing has come back yet.
Well,
we are waiting on Microsoft.
Because from my understanding of it, I didn't read this article or anything.
Yeah.
It's... Microsoft is still testing the functionality of it.
Yeah.
And
it's still in preview.
So, it's not supposed to come out until the fall. So I think, my guess is, once they get all the kinks worked out and they know exactly what it's going to take, then I think that's when they're going to go to the publishers or developers and be like, hey, it's probably not that hard. I think they just want to work out all the bugs first. So once everybody knows, okay, these are the top, 200-300 games, let's have those available. It'll only take us 6 weeks to get those online. So,
I mean, there were other parts of the article where some of the companies were kind of just like completely shut it down,
about it.
And they're just like, well, we have to see if that's profitable. If that's a profitable solution before we decide.
Maybe that's another thing too. They want to have numbers. Like Microsoft wants to come to the company and be like, "Hey, we project you're going to get 12% sales increase."
Yeah, and I think that some of them, because there's big companies that are like the one who like Nordic Games who made Darksiders. They
Yeah.
have like 2 games.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, please, yes,
Absolutely.
make our games more available.
Yeah.
Awesome. But then there's like Activision who's doing all the Call of Duties, and there are talks that they might do HD remakes of some old Call of Duties because that's the thing to do now is HD remakes.
Yeah.
So they might be more inclined to just be like, no, we are planning something else with Call of Duty Black Ops 15 Ghosts in Warfare 4 or whatever their new title is. But I thought for it launching in the fall, I felt it was a little slightly depressing that there is not more information out there. I know it's still being previewed. I know they're probably gathering numbers.
Or maybe they signed an NDA and they're not allowed to talk about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things. I was just like, man, I was kind of hoping to see like what the list of games are, because I think that's also what's holding people back from buying the new system is, yes, you can do like, yes, they're saying like, hey, these 100 games that are part of the preview room, they're going to work.
Yeah.
But a lot of those were rare games that are obviously
stuff they already had the rights to, like
anything
anything that first party stuff.
If you have a collection and you looked at that preview list and you're like, oh, I got 5 games on that preview list or whatever, and you're just like, I want to know if I can play my Red Dead Redemption, I want to know if I can play my Call of Duties, stuff like that. Like, you might be waiting then to kind of hear that once you get the go-ahead, like, yeah, all these games are coming back, then you're like, oh, now I can invest in an Xbox One. But while, like, all that information just, like, the promise of it's great, but until they're just like, here's a list and we're going to grow it every week or every month, then that's when people, I think, will start taking advantage of it and jumping on board more.
Right. No, I certainly don't think you should make a decision yet. It's safe to assume that most of the AAA titles, the bigger games, are going to be there. Like, I'm sure like Red Dead and like Grand Theft Auto and all that stuff is probably going to be on the list. Unless if Rockstar is like, no, I don't want to do that. We want to come out with HD remakes instead.
I would agree with you on certain companies. Like, I think EA probably, maybe Activision even. Rockstar's always kind of done its own thing, and I don't know, like, because they did.
But they're printing money with Grand Theft Auto. Why not have, like, they already did an HD remake of it.
Well, they already
might as well just be like, yeah, if you want to buy it for a third time, go ahead.
If you want to buy Grand Theft Auto 4, the best one, now you can play it on your Xbox One. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there'll definitely be some publishers, though, that are dicks, and they're going to hold back on games that they know people want. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Activision's just like, yes to our full catalog, except these Call of Duty games.
Well,
and then those Call of Duty games are ones that get the HD remake. Or Rockstar's just like, yes to everything except Red Dead Redemption because we're going to make a Red Dead Redemption.
Unless if they're already like in the process of redoing some of these games, I feel like it's to the benefit of the publishers to just be like, yeah, put it on there, we'll get more money, because either it's backwards compatible and people are playing your games, or you can then buy it from the Xbox store.
Yeah, and get some sort of profit.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, not really news.
Right, that was your half news. That turned into a full
heated debate.
Yeah. Let's see. The other stuff I got is just it reminded me when you were talking about that how Activision has now partnered with Sony and PlayStation as like the exclusive console, semi-exclusive, for Call of Duty. So for the last however many Call of Duty games, it's always been Microsoft. They've always gotten the DLC first, etc. And now they've last E3 they announced, okay, now it's going to be first on PlayStation. Now it's only a week or two. That like it's sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks before Xbox. So it's not that big a deal. But they said the reason, basically they said is, I mean, I'm reading between the lines here, but that they already, like Microsoft is the platform for Call of Duty for like esports and everything, so the competitive stuff, so they feel like they already have cornered that market, so they're trying to branch out and get more PlayStation people to play. Also, they said that the Destiny exclusiveness was like a huge slam dunk for them, and they made so much money off of that that they feel like, okay, they just want to partner with Sony because it's easier for them. They already have a deal with them with Destiny.
Yeah,
and they don't have to renegotiate anything. They can just be like, okay, we're going to add this to the list of stuff you're doing.
It makes sense for sure to kind of like, since Destiny it was so big for them. Just be like, let's do that with all our games.
Exactly.
Because they're hoping that they hit that every time.
Well, because they don't understand that there's only a certain amount of people out there. Like, yes, Call of Duty has sold better on the Xbox, so now they're like, okay, well, now we're going to make it exclusive on the other one. That's not going to just match it then. That means that the Xbox one's going to it's just going to even out.
Yeah, there's still only 100 people that are playing Call of Duty, which is a
of course.
But yeah, it's like if 60 were on Xbox and then only 40, now it's going to be 60 and 40. And
right, if you grow
switch.
one, it just shrinks the other. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's just Activision being money hungry again.
Yeah.
And the whole, like, you know, first on this console with that stuff really doesn't matter anyways. Because like I said, it's literally like a week.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
week.
if you want to do first on this console and it's a month, 2 months, then we're talking some serious, like, if a game came out and it was a really good game, obviously it wouldn't be Call of Duty because Call of Duty's never good.
Yeah.
But if Batman came out and it was Xbox exclusive for 2 months and everyone played it, got their fill, loved it, enjoyed it, started talking about it, and you were a PlayStation owner, you'd feel left out of the conversation.
Yeah.
That would be a big blow to you. But if it's a week and someone just gets a week head start on Call of Duty,
now it does seem like a long time in like online shooters and stuff. Like every hour, people learn new strategies.
But you're not competing against Microsoft people. Since there's no cross-platform play, it's not like you have to worry about, like,
you're exactly right.
Shit, that guy he's prestige twice. I'm going to have to go up against him. He's got a weak practice. Like, no, you're still going to jump in on your platform and everyone's going to be at the same level.
Right. But at the same time, I think Call of Duty fans are crazy enough to maybe put money down on this because they have, you know, their premium service, which lets you get the game and some DLCs 24 hours earlier than everybody else. So you have to pay like $60 or something. I don't know the exact price point, so don't quote me on that. But it's a premium service. You're just paying to get stuff 24 hours early. And it does really well for them. Like, they make so much money off of that.
I know the people who play those games. Like, it's like I buy 3 games a year. Call of Duty, I buy Madden, and then I buy something else, and those are the 3 games. And I understand that, like, those are people who are just like, I don't play video games that much, so I want to buy one that all my friends are playing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the rule. You know, I got 10 friends, 8 of them are playing Call of Duty, that's a no-brainer. I have to get it. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm just like, how can a game never innovate year after year and still just
because like, everyone's playing it, and like you got to play because your friends are playing. That's exactly it. The new Call of Duty, the special edition, like really special edition, comes with a mini fridge, which just proves that they're catering.
It better just be full of like Surge.
No, it's just like, catering to like the college kids and stuff like that. You know, it's like all about like dorm rooms and like everyone's playing it. You got to play with your friends. Got to do this right now. You're not cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish I could grab everyone and just kind of be
shake them.
It'll be okay. If you skip a Call of Duty and you spend your $60 on a game that you'll actually enjoy for more than, a month, your friends won't hate you for that. You can still use their Xbox.
Right. This is another piece of news that I didn't have written down, but just reminded me of it. Transitioned perfectly. I mean, I guess if you talk about the transition, it doesn't transition perfectly, but that's another point. Is it
about mini fridges?
No, I wish. No. It's about Activision and Destiny. So, like, they had a deal that the stuff on the PlayStation was exclusive to them for a year.
Yep.
So, basically, until the anniversary of when the game comes out, all that stuff was just on PlayStation. So, the release of the original game plus all the DLCs got 1 or 2 extra things every now and then.
Yep.
So, that's like... Are they
charging another $20 just for the PlayStation stuff?
No.
So
that's the thing. Xbox owners are going to get all that stuff for free then. Once the anniversary happens. So basically they have another DLC pack that they're getting for free. So it's there's a bunch of strikes. I think there's 3 or 4 strikes plus exotic weapons and things like that. So you get those, plus you get, they're calling them remixed versions that they've updated to fit into the Taken King expansion. So it's like you can play the normal ones like the PlayStation owners have been for the last year, or you get to play brand new ones with Taken enemies and other features that they said they've added into the Taken King. So that's pretty cool. So they're basically getting double all of the stuff. Yeah, I'm not saying you're getting more than the PlayStation people. I'm just saying
You're finally catching up.
You're finally catching up, but like it's like an extra bonus. Like they shaved off a little bit here and there, but now it's like, oh, now you have even more to do, more to come back to. So it's kind of a nice little treat for Xbox.
Yeah.
users.
When the Taken King launches, and then it's just like
It's going to be a lot of content.
yeah, you're gonna have a lot compared to whatever PlayStation users who just have the Taken King.
Yeah.
It's just that all the stuff you're gonna be talking about besides the remixed versions, they're gonna be like, already did that a year ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's good to see that stuff get released, even no matter how long it is, because that's always the thing that bothered me back when there was like pre-order bonuses.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't want to buy 20 copies of the game so I can get 20 different pre-order bonuses.
Right.
So that I can have a complete game. Just make everything available for everything.
Right. Even if I gotta wait like a month or two or pay an extra $1 or $2, at some point everything needs to be available in the game.
Even if it's just the goddamn skin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it for most games.
No.
Like, if they're just like, hey, now that you did this, your car now looks like a 57 Chevy. I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, okay, that was the Aldi pre-order bonus. Can't believe they did an Aldi pre-order bonus for Forza. But
right.
Like, there it is. It's like, okay, give me that for $1 a month after the game comes out.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
What's your last bit of news?
My last bit of news is Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Announced that the Xbox 360 versions of games are still outselling Xbox One versions of games.
Yeah, for their company.
Right. I can't say across the board, obviously, but they're like, the reason we are still thinking about releasing games in the 360, even though every other company has been like, we're new systems only, is because the 360 is still more profitable than the Xbox One in terms of game sales.
Well, because they have obviously a bigger user base, so there's a lot more people on there, and also because like it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah.
They're making the games on the 360 and
So
that
people
old
don't
technology,
feel they need to
so
update.
people don't want to buy the Xbox One version or whatever, the PlayStation 4 version, because the graphics look almost exactly the same as the other versions. So why spend the money? Wait until they're making actually, current gen from the ground up stuff to do.
But that's also like, I agree with you 100%. If you're going to make stuff for the old system, they're going to be like, well, I don't need to upgrade yet because I'm still getting stuff. But at the same time, like, from Ubisoft's perspective, they're just like, we don't want to cut off all that money.
I know, yeah.
So keep releasing it. I mean, eventually they're just going to have to flip a switch, and they're just going to have to be like, sorry, Assassin's Creed 45 is going to be Xbox One and PlayStation 4 only. And people are going to have to update. But I just thought that was kind of like, I feel like every company has at this point, besides, like, certain games.
Yeah.
Skylanders is going to be on old systems. The newly announced Snoopy game, that's going to be on all systems.
Yeah.
But, like...
Well, because the thing is, because they run on different technology, that either they have to have two companies or two teams working internally, developing basically two different games that look similar to, or have an outside company
do everything.
Yeah, one or the other. And like that's what NetherRealm did with like Mortal Kombat, is they had another company do the 360 version, and that version maybe still hasn't even come out.
I don't think
it was supposed to come out the same day. They had problems, and they haven't been able to do it. So like that's the thing. It's like you're spending a lot of money at this point to do stuff for both, unless if you just make one for the old generation and try to up the graphics
that's what I'm thinking. I
that's a shitty way to do things.
Ubisoft is just doing a dumbed down version that can play across the board.
And no wonder your current gen ones aren't selling.
Yeah,
like the newer ones aren't going to sell then if you just basically up-res it, because nobody wants to buy that then.
People who really want Assassin's Creed 45.
Yeah,
I think it's still about the Templars, right?
Right.
It's future. It's future one. Future Assassins.
Yeah, I did play Assassin's Creed 4 for a minute because it was
Black
free.
Flag. Yeah.
Yeah. I played like the first couple of missions. I'll talk about that at some other point. But
it's probably fun.
So far, so good.
Yeah. We won't jump ahead.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed games, they have a formula. They're fun. The problem is that they're burning themselves out because I can't I can't keep playing Assassin's Creed games.
Right.
I have to play like one.
Take a break. I really don't think this is a series that should come out every year.
No, it shouldn't.
And especially because they're then having other, different companies work on it, and then so it's like every third one is good.
Yeah.
Same like Call of Duty, like, oh, this one's bad because this company made it. I just gotta wait another year or two.
Yeah.
So I think they should just have the original company do it, the original team do it, and come out with a game every 2 or 3 years. That's fine.
Yeah,
like, you've done every time period, every location, and there's the Assassin's Creed Chronicle games too. I don't know if you've seen those.
No.
Those actually look kind of fun. They're side scrollers.
Are they mobiles or PSPs or
yeah.
DSs?
You can get them on the arcade sort of thing. But yeah, they're left to right side scrollers, and they're both. The only one I've seen is the China one, but there's like China, Russia, Turkey, some like weird things like that. And they have different mechanics, but it's like they're burning through those time periods and that cool stuff. And like the China one, I don't know if they're all like this, but kind of looks like almost like watercolored.
That'd be cool.
Style. So like when you cut somebody, the blood sort of sprays out like a paint splatter, things like that.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like granted, I haven't played deep into the series.
Yeah,
but just like play one, you play a couple games in between, and then you play another one, and it's great. The problem is just like. I couldn't buy one and play it like every year because then I'd just be like, hey, I feel like I just did this. I feel like I just scaled this, jumped into a hay barrel, and pushed a civilian. Like, I feel like I've done this a million times. Just like I couldn't do if Grand Theft Autos were every year.
Right.
I mean, like, she's like, yeah, oh, cool, got in this car, did another driving mission.
Yeah, especially huge sprawling games like that are all about, like, the side missions and doing the same thing over and over and over. It's like, yeah, I don't want to do everything over and over again and then do that every year. The same, like, okay, catch this thief or, like,
Like, sometimes you just need a linear game.
Yeah.
That you're just, like, there's no side missions. Right. I just need a corridor shooter. I just need a racing game.
Yeah, I think we just justified Call of Duty coming out, like, every year, but...
No, because you can't also have that.
No, I know, yeah.
Like, that needs to be your palate cleanser. Like, I love open world games. I wish almost every game was an open world game. I want all those options where it's just like, I don't feel like a main quest today.
Yeah.
I want to go do something small. But since Assassin's Creed and Grand Theft Auto and all those are just like formulaic at this point, just like, yeah, okay, I don't want to just go hunt pigeons. I don't need to climb every building.
Right.
Give me something else.
Yep.
Of course, I'm picky, and I just want Snoopy versus the Red Baron.
Yeah,
on
well,
Xbox 360.
It's gonna happen.
It looks like a fun game.
It does look pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it wasn't announced at E3. I mean, I know it's a solid game. It probably wouldn't got any press. That's probably why they did it. But
should have been a show game.
Yeah,
they should have had that at a press conference. Yep. And we're pleased to announce Snoopy versus the Red Baron. Two-player co-op.
Speaking of E3, something that I didn't realize until afterwards was that the new Mirror's Edge Catalyst does not have any guns. You can grab and throw guns, but there's no shooting mechanic like there was in the first game. So I sort of criticized the trailer because it showed grabbing guns and things like that.
Yeah, and I think we talked about
how the way I played it, I'm sure you do too, is without guns. The whole point was to never shoot a gun.
Yeah.
And so the fact that that's not even in the game, I kind of like that. I like games that give you options. So I wouldn't have been upset if they had it in the game, as long as they didn't force you to use guns.
Yes, I think that's the key. Is having an option and not forcing you. Because I agree with somebody on the internet, whoever it is, complaining just like removing guns is great because we don't want it gunplay. Yeah. But at the same time, I want to approach all those rooms and have the option where it's just like I can kick a gun out of your hand and shoot you if I want to, and then I kind of can take my time through this room. So if you get rid of guns completely, then it's just like, okay, now there's only
one perfect way to go.
There's only one perfect option in this room as opposed to two perfect options. I still think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because, like, you could still technically, I guess, just disarm a guard and then you just don't shoot the other guys. I don't know. I mean, like, it'll be fine.
I'm guessing there's just going to be less guys with guns in the game.
I disagree.
You think there's going to be more?
I think there's going to be...
And you're just going to always have to just run around and disarm.
I think the high points of Mirror's Edge where when you knew you were being chased and you could see the bullets on the walls as you're, like, doing wall runs, I think there's going to be a lot more I think it's going to be a bigger game in terms of just like there's going to be a lot more moments, quote unquote, where it's just like you're outrunning guys, they're shooting at you, and then you do your big jump off of a building and do. But
you can do that by putting a guy on a ledge or something where you can't get him, and then he's still shooting at the wall next to you or something.
Yeah, I mean, like they could still set it up, but I still think there's going to be. I think there's going to be more combat. And by combat, I mean more bad guys in this one.
Forcing you to confront the bad guys rather than avoid them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, me too. Did you see the trailer was released for the Minecraft Story Mode, which is the Telltale version of Minecraft?
Yeah. You
didn't watch the trailer though?
I didn't watch the full thing. I clicked on it and I'm like, I don't care about Minecraft.
Yeah. I will say that I was pleasantly surprised at the trailer. So what it is it takes place, in this Minecraft universe, but it's like this one guy that's sort of forced into this big, adventure. So he's kind of like a normal everyday guy, but now he's got to go like fight a dragon or something, like become a knight. So it's Patton Oswalt plays the main character, and also Brian Posehn's in there, plus all the other Telltale voice actors like Ashley Johnson and some other people they announced. So the voice cast is great, and I think that'll help it a lot.
Yeah. Well, because like for faces, they can't have much in terms of facial animation.
No, but like voice casting is very important, and to drive a story that's just all with block characters and everything like that, obviously the emotions of the voices are going to be what's carrying it. And people that know what they're doing in voice acting, like they can, just like, not to jump ahead again, but like the narrator in Thomas Was Alone, like it was, half of it was, yes, the words were great, but also just the way he narrated it made you care about it.
Yeah.
And so just the same thing, like I feel like great voice acting might be able to get rid of some of the flaws that are inherent in doing a Minecraft story.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to buy it. I don't think it's going to be good. I'm just saying that when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that was a little bit better than I was expecting.
Yeah, well, I think I saw the list of names too, and there are a bunch of ones that I'm just like, oh yeah, like that could be funny. Right. Like obviously, like those comedians are funny for them and not necessarily for a Telltale writer,
right? Who's
writing jokes about
Yeah, but Brian Posehn's voice is hilarious no matter what he's saying.
Yeah, true. But I imagine that he's just going to be like Brian Posehn's always like minor character number 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll say a lot about Telltale is now that they have a property that doesn't have a story and they get to craft a wholly original story. And just to see how well they can do that.
Right.
Like, you have a world and there's a bunch of shit that can happen in this world because it's, whatever, Minecraft. But it's like, you're not confined to any comic book. You're not confined to any global, like, well, you can't screw up Walking Dead because there has to be zombies. You can't.
Well, even like Borderlands, I think, is a good bridge because they already had all those things in place, all those pieces. They just created the story.
Yeah, exactly. Borderlands was there's a world but no story besides like you're a vault hunter and you need to do this. So like there was that. So you could work within that. Like, and now like you said, it's perfect. It's a good bridge because now you're going into another established world that went from Borderlands had a 2 out of 10 in story. Because it was just like, there's a vault.
Yeah.
And now you have a 0 out of 10. Like, Minecraft, there's no story at all. There's no, like, at the end of the day...
Everyone playing the game has their own story.
Yeah.
So
the only thing they have to do is, like, include creepers. Like, that
right,
is their
exactly.
whole, like, at some point, there's creepers.
Yeah, as long as they keep the visual style and have creepers, I think everything they do is going to be fine. But it seems like they were, they learned... from the success of Tales from the Borderland, which is like get a really good voice cast and just do a story that's you think would be good on its own, and then just impose it, like sort of place it in this world.
I can't wait till they just remove choice altogether in their games,
right?
And it's literally just like you're just buying a miniseries.
Yeah.
Just comes out every other month, and you're like, another episode, we got to watch it, and you just put it on while you eat dinner, and you don't even need a controller anymore.
I feel like this Minecraft story would make more sense as like a kid's cartoon than it is like an actual playable game.
And maybe it'll develop into that.
Yeah, unless if they go absolutely crazy with it, which I don't think they will, with the inventory system and being able to like build or craft stuff and make it similar to Minecraft. then it might be a
That'd
decent
be
game.
intense.
But that would be such a huge undertaking.
The amount of like little drafts of like, if you build this, characters say this.
Or no, I'd just be like, hey, like if you want, you can just go somewhere and start digging, and then below that is like bedrock, and then you can find water, like all the things that happen in Minecraft.
Yeah.
If they just created the entire world, like when you explore, you can just go mess
and
around.
they just added voice in there.
Yeah.
And they're like, you found water, so Brian Poseidon's going to drop in. He's going to say this. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that'll happen, but that would be incredible. There has to be some sort of like, I feel like there has to be some sort of crafting
There's got to be something.
element in the game. Like,
Yeah.
it can't just be make choices and walk left to right, because like people who are going to buy the Minecraft game are going to be people who love Minecraft,
Right.
and they're not going to just be like, great visual storytelling, awesome. I still want to craft. I want to collect blocks.
Right.
So we'll see.
Let's see. Just a little bit of other news is so they announced the Gears of War Ultimate Edition achievements.
Is there seriously on it?
There is a seriously. It is the same thing. 10,000 people online. It will be so much easier now, though, with the new game types and the ability to respawn. Like, I got over 1,000 kills in the beta alone, and that was me casually playing for less than a week. That was like,
And
I
you
played
need
for like 5 days,
10,000
and you need
kills?
10,000.
Oh, that's cakewalk then.
Exactly. It's super easy now. Before, I think it took like 6 to 8 months of you playing every day.
Correct. I never played Gears, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the big thing with Gears 1 was just that there's no respawn. You had to get so many kills, right? And then,
Yeah, it
like,
was all
Gears,
round-based.
Gears 2 and 3 were like you had to do it with different weapons.
No,
you had to
Gears
get
1, you
medals.
had to get 100 kills with each weapon that was available in multiplayer.
Okay.
And including then you also had to get like 100 headshots and 100 executions and all that stuff. They've taken almost all of those out from what I can tell. I just glanced at the list. So they kept in like, complete each chapter in the story and complete the whole thing and do co-op. They've gotten rid of the play as Dom achievements. So there was achievements for playing the game cooperatively.
And you were
there
the
was
second player.
And then if you was also on top of that, there was other achievements for playing as the second player in co-op. So you had to play it,
twice.
at least twice.
Yeah.
And then they've added in achievements for the newer features they've added. Like, I think it's like spot 100 enemies that end up getting killed, which is a new feature in multiplayer where you can just click on them to spot them.
Yeah.
Things like that. The new stuff they added.
Rate
the new
them
game
on their website.
Well, yeah, right. The
It was 5 stars and you get an achievement. Which, by the way, phone achievements, which I obviously don't care about, but games that have achievements that are like mobile will have those, where it's just go to our website and here's a 10-point achievement.
Right. Those are the worst.
Like, fuck you. Okay, that's not an achievement in the game.
And they've added some both, like I said, features from the new features of the game, but also some other hard ones. Like, I think the one I saw was like beat the final boss. I'm not going to say who he is in case some people in this room haven't played it. But beat the final boss cooperatively on the hardest difficulty level with neither of you ever going down.
Don't enlist me to help you.
No, because that was a super hard fight to begin with.
Not only do I not have an Xbox One and I wouldn't buy Gears of War, but I would not be good at that.
Yeah, but like Rod Ferguson, who's now the head of the franchise, who was part of the original series and then left, he went and helped them do like BioShock Infinite and stuff like that. But anyways, he came back and now he's the head of it. He's the one that's into the super hard achievements. He's the one that came up with Seriously originally, so that's why he had to add a new super hard achievement. And I think because Seriously has gotten knocked down a couple hundred pegs with the new difficulty, and I think he wanted to add in another one that's like kind of a badge of honor for this version of the game. But yeah, I think it was important to have like the Seriously achievement there, and I'm kind of glad they kept it now. Right. But like you couldn't really do it without it. So
transition. That's what you just say when you have a transition, right?
That's what I say.
This isn't news, but it's more, I guess it's kind of personal.
That's
news.
fine. I want to get into personal news now.
I discovered that there is a website, it's some
free porn?
Retro, like if you Google retro achievements, there's a website dedicated to adding achievements
to games that don't have them.
To retro, like 8-bit games.
Yeah.
Like you download the file, and then obviously you have to play everything off your computer.
Yeah, if you use an emulator.
But then there's like DuckTales achievements.
Yes. Well, I mean, you could just get the remastered version, but yeah.
Yeah, but well, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a website that's like TA, where there's a leaderboard, and you can sign up.
Don't tell me about this, man.
Well, you don't have a computer that could run anything besides Minesweeper, so you're safe there. But I just found it. It was like, that's so weird. Like, not every game's supported. Like, somebody actually has to go
Well,
in
yeah.
there, code it.
Think of achievements and then code it and make sure it's all working.
But I thought that was kind of funny. I was looking at some of the games, and I realized that because they're not company based, they're all
super hard.
Yeah, you either find a guy who I'm the only person who wanted to make a list for Barbie's horse adventure, so it's pet the horse. There's an achievement, or it's the people who are play Galaga without ever losing a life.
Yeah.
And you're just oh well, that's not happening.
Well, that's one of the things, going back to the true, I guess, spirit of achievements would be to
their badges of
honor.
Their
badges of honor of doing something very hard or took a long time to do or things like that. Now, because every game has to have a certain number and they don't want it to be impossible for people to get achievements, most of them are a mix between easy, medium, and hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing it by yourself as an individual, you want to be all the achievements should just be for doing hardcore stuff.
Yeah. There's I think every game has beat level 1, but then all of them are just never get hit by a guy for 40 levels in a row. And
yeah.
Don't think that's possible.
Right.
But
on your first try, never restarting the game.
Yeah. Only load up the game once and beat it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's it.
That's all your personal
Retro
news?
achievements. That was my transition.
Well, transition into other personal news for me. So July 7th was going to be a really exciting day for me. I was excited. It was Bungie Day, and they're announcing how the dedicated players are going to get some sort of legendary. Well, they didn't say what it was. They're you're going to get something great. You're going to be the VIP players, they're calling them, of year one, are going to get something to show that they're awesome forever.
Yeah. So
I was excited for that. So I waited around to the daily reset. I jumped in the game, was running around to the different the postmaster, the special vendors, all this different checking my inventory, seeing if there was anything there. There was never any pop-up message, anything like that. So that was disappointed.
Nothing come out of it?
Well, nothing came out of it then. So I was okay, I'll just wait. It's really early in the morning. Maybe you got to wait until business hours in Seattle for them to do something, because that happens sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm okay, I'll just jump over to Mortal Kombat because Predator's supposed to be out, right? And I saw a bunch of people were twitching him, so I'm I'm gonna go jump in and play as Predator, see what Carl Weathers' voice sounds like. Not there. Can't download him. Anytime I try to do it, it says he's not available.
Okay.
That went on for the next 16 hours. They did not patch it on the Xbox. It was having problems for both PlayStation and Xbox. Then the PlayStation Network went down.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a solution for them, because that gave them time to fix it. And then the Xbox One, they didn't patch it until
till the Xbox went down.
Until 10 p.m. at night, the day it was supposed to come out. So a lot of people, some people were able to get them without incident. But other people that had the season pass, there was a problem with that and all this other stuff, all this other jazz. So that was frustrating. So neither of those things I got to find out until essentially the next day. So for Destiny, they give you a special emblem, which if you're not familiar, it just displays your name and your rank. And that's about it. So when you're playing with other people, whether you're playing online, cooperatively, they see your emblem.
Level.
And like I kind of mentioned before, same with armor and stuff, everyone's have the same ones. Because they have a couple special ones, hey, you beat Trials of Osiris flawlessly. If you got that, everyone has that. That's what you see with everyone. Or if you beat, Skolas in the hardest Prison of Elders, everyone has that when you're playing Prison of Elders. So it's really not that's out of all the things they could have given you, that was the worst. That was the lowest on the totem pole. Top would probably be exotic weapon, exotic gear, even a shader, and then emblem, right? Especially because there's just one of them. Maybe have 5 and be hey, you get to choose which one you want to at least mix it up. It does look pretty cool, but it's not worth that.
Yeah.
And also, so you have to hit, I think there's 12 points or something. You have to do all these certain criteria to then unlock it. And it's, simple things like beat the story, then it's beat the 2 raids on hard,
so it's
get 100 multiplayer.
It's not even necessarily hey, you've been playing this long, you get it, and only you get it. I could technically,
it's basically everyone's going to get it.
I could technically pick up the game, and I could just be oh, I'm a preferred player.
Basically, as long as you meet the criteria before the Taken King expansion comes out, which is considered year 2, you can get it. So basically, I assume 95% of the people will get it.
Yeah.
That have already played it, because like I said, the points aren't that hard to get. And plus, you don't even get it until the Taken King comes out. So I don't even get the emblem now. I still have to wait 2.5 months to get the emblem.
Oh, that's great.
Even
that's
though
a good idea.
And there's no in-game like thing at all. So I had to go to the website and be like, oh yeah, and they're like, congratulations, you meet all the requirements. Wait until the Taken King to get your special emblem.
And aren't you gonna get like an extra like 6 emblems for Taken King anyway?
At least.
So this is just gonna be like the one in the middle. You're
right.
Like, yeah, this one's orange.
Give me the option to have like 7 emblems at once, and maybe I'll care about emblems. But I really don't care about just having one thing.
I don't know. It sounds pretty great.
It sounds.
Like, I think that's what I'd collect if I played Destiny. Every day I'd switch emblems.
I feel like the people that are actually making the game, that are working on like the DLC and all that stuff, are learning from their mistakes and getting better as they go along. The people on like the PR side, both like community manager and like Luke Smith and all this other stuff, people that are deciding what promotions to do and all this other stuff, are just doing all like they're getting worse as time goes on. Or give me a dance, give me an emoji, give me something. That would have been great too.
Yeah.
After all the backlash, after all the stuff that happened with the Taken King DLC, why not give everybody else then something cool? Because you know the things that they like and the things they don't like.
I know this would only cause more outrage, but like, I feel like it should have been something like only year 1 people can get this, and like,
well,
I mean, I know technically like,
yeah,
but I mean like, what I mean is just like, you had to have played the game, and I don't know how they would have done it.
Yeah.
You had to have played the game between this and this dates.
Well, that's kind of what they did,
and then that's how you get it. Like, you can't just be like, I couldn't buy the game tomorrow, spend whatever, play for 24 straight hours, and hit all the requirements, and then just be like, yeah, I'm a year 1 player. Just like,
right. That's what bothers me, is they're still giving people 2.5 months to get all the requirements. So if you picked up the game today, or even the day before Taken King came out, you can get all that stuff.
Like, it should have just been like, hey, you've already hit the cutoff, so you can't buy the game after this announcement. And just be like, hey, you had to have played within the first month the game came out, and you had to have hit these requirements.
Or make them have tiers for them. Be like, hey, if you hit these 3 basic requirements, you get this emblem. Or, if you spent 1,000 hours in the game and did 100 different things, you get the platinum emblem. Things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of better ways they could have done this. This is literally the least they could have done.
Well, and they did it.
Yeah. I'm just sad the good old days when, they were making Halo games at Microsoft, and they'd give you like free maps and stuff on Bungie Day and free armor. And now it's like, nah, you can emblem.
Maybe on
it took us 30
Day.
Seconds to make.
What's Activision Day?
666. When's that?
You have to wait till 2066.
Yeah.
June 6th, 2066.
And then I played as Predator. I don't know if we should talk about this now. I have too many other games to talk about. But
I mean, maybe you could just be like, hey, Predator's pretty cool.
Predator's pretty cool. He looks great. His dreadlocks especially looked awesome. The sounds he makes are great. He bleeds green blood. He uses his, because he doesn't talk other than like sort of cackle thing he does, but he uses the voice like in the movie that he captured from the humans, and like Carl Weathers laughing and stuff. Like, he's got a self-destruct mode, which is awesome, a little move that like makes him explode, and he does the little laugh before it. Just all that stuff is fun. Carl Weathers as Jax is great. They had him redo the voice for it. He smokes a cigar in like the intros, things like that. He says things to Johnny Cage, because Johnny Cage has a commando outfit you can wear. One of his fatalities is the way Carl Weathers dies. He shoots his arm off, and then he screams, and then he aims at his head and blows his head off with the little plasma caster. Yeah, it's fun.
Spoiler.
I know. I'm just giving you everything.
Spoiler that
Sorry.
What happens at the end of Predator.
Well, I was like halfway through Predator. And then the other skin that came with the pack is an infrared Scorpion. So it's Scorpion, but he looks like the heat vision that the Predator has, which is pretty great.
Cool.
But he moves very slow, but then his attacks are fast. So he's kind of a good mix. Like, if you're trying to just move around, he's kind of slow and cumbersome. But then he'll do like a really quick like jump attack with this little sword thing or whatever.
I don't know the words that are coming out of my mouth right now, but is he like really quick to Cyrax?
I was hoping he would just be Cyrax
exactly
with a Predator skin, because that's what I want, because I'm super into Cyrax. No, not really. He doesn't have like the bombs that Cyrax has. He doesn't have that cool net that comes out. He's got a net that's like a deployable that he throws down, that if you walk over it, it'll entangle you and hang you upside down. But like Cyrax had a net that like was basically a digital version of Scorpion, where he'd send out a green net and then he'd pull it towards you, so you'd be able to do combos and things like that. With Predator, like I said, he just throws down this little trap. If you walk over it, it hangs you upside down, and you can only do a certain amount of combos. You can do the air juggles and things like that, but you can't just do a normal ground combo on them because they're kind of hanging in the air.
Gotcha.
Also, but he can turn invisible, which is pretty cool. All his variants can do that, and he stays invisible for 13 seconds, regardless of whether or not he gets hit. Other character in Mortal Kombat, like Reptile and stuff, if you go invisible, once you get hit, you don't see him again.
Yeah.
He's good. He's. I really like Jason, even though it wasn't as fun to play. But I liked Predator better, and it makes me want a Predator game. Just give me a Predator game.
Yeah, they got some for the computer. AVP.
Yeah, AVP. Well, yeah, but like
like
I played the old Nintendo Super Nintendo version. I really liked.
You get maybe see if there's some achievements for the Super Nintendo version of
Right.
Predator. See if we can beat those.
Also, though, it just makes me just put every character now in this game. Like, don't come out with another Mortal Kombat for like 5 years and just have DLC every once in a while. Like, I want Freddy back in there. I want just like every. Yeah, I want Terminator. Put Terminator there. I want Predator versus Terminator versus Jason versus
to do.
Yeah,
it's just like. I mean, like, let me do the Rock Band of fighting games. Let me buy a base package, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, whatever, Bushido Blade, and then just keep trickling out one guy every couple weeks, maybe a month.
Right.
Every month, give me a guy for a year.
Right.
And then just like, now I have a roster that started off as 12 people, and it just ballooned to, 40 by the time that this game is finally done.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. But, obviously... they make more money probably to sell you a whole new game than to.
But it's cool because they keep every time there's a patch for the game, they come out with at least one new skin for a character. Usually classic skins, which are awesome. This one had the Predator and Prey pack, which was like Carl Weathers and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But other ones have had like classic costumes, and now there's classic fatalities too. So 4 characters from the original game got classic fatalities. You got the Scorpion, the ripping off the mask breathing fire. You got the spine rip from Sub-Zero. Sonya's got her little she blows a little flame kiss that sets you on fire, and then Johnny Cage just uppercuts her head off. So those are fun. I don't know. I've only done it because anytime I have the option, I always pick the classic costumes. But I think you have to have the classic costumes equipped
to do the
classic fatalities, which is fun. Good times.
Cool.
We should do it some point, and I want to do a Predator versus Jason, like I've been talking about for a while.
If we do our guest episode that we're thinking about,
that's
that
true.
Would probably be a perfect time.
And then we could play Quiplash. Since I've not been able to play it yet because I don't have more than one friend.
We could make it a thing.
Yeah.
Do a record on like a Saturday.
And we can Twitch it so people can play Quiplash. They can comment on our bad fighting skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Mark it down.
All right, and so that's kind of transitioned into games that I was playing. So
okay,
it's all balls in your court. The game ball.
MVP.
Yeah.
I started Escapists. Oh wait.
Well, you can't talk about that yet.
Hold on here.
Okay.
Should make it clear, as on the Twitters, we're doing 2 games this month. Escapists.
We don't know when we're gonna actually talk about them, but yes, the 2 games to think about.
Those are the 2 games to play. You at least have 2 to 3 weeks, possibly 4 weeks, to play them. On my podcasting software on my phone, it cut out the end of the episode where we announced that we were playing the Escapists. So I was just like, maybe due to time constraints, we edited that off because I download the full episode and it literally just cuts it off for me.
Right, and I always mix and match things. Sometimes I take things to different places. I know, the one episode we had the spoilers, so we put the ending halfway through the episode before we talked about Life is Strange. It was very plausible that could have happened.
Yes.
So I just went
So yeah, then I came in and do another drawing, drew Katamari, announced that.
Yeah.
So. If people who purchased the Escapists when we said we're going to do the Escapists, we're still going to do the Escapists.
We're definitely going to do that, yeah.
For people who are doing Katamari, we're still going to do Katamari. If you want to do both, you can do both. With that said, I started the Escapists. I will not give a full spoiler thing. I really only played a couple hours. What I will say going into this game, for people who are going to play it with us, and for you, be prepared for a lengthy learning curve.
Okay, is it very frustrating early on?
No, it's not frustrating. You do the first map, whatever, that's what I'm doing right now. It's just that the game does not tell you anything. The tutorial you go through, you can complete in a minute, and it's just like, here's how you escape a prison. And I'll break that down for you. It's just like, go talk to this guy, he'll sell you a screwdriver.
Yeah.
Unscrew this vent, here's a guard's uniform, boom, ba-doo-ba-da-boom, and like, you're out. And then it's just like, now you play. And like, first
it's so open world that are so like choice based that you don't know what to do.
Well, it's like you start and like you're just like, okay, so that was an option of how to get out of. First of all, there's no just guy who sells you a screwdriver. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Second of all, like you don't have any money, like, and they don't tell you like anything else.
And it looks so basic that you don't know. Oh, this guy's the guy selling stuff.
And then it's like there's this huge like. Every game has some crafting element.
Yeah.
There's this huge, like, combine two items, because you're allowed to have items in a prison. You know, you have a bar of soap, you have a sock, something like that. But they're just
to
like,
beat people with?
Well, no, like a sock, you know, your clothing.
No, but you put the bar of soap in the sock.
You can combine the bar of soap and the sock, and that gives you a weapon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, then there's a bunch of other stuff where you're just like, why would I combine these two to create this? There's something like, you can combine this and this, and you can get molten plastic.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what do I need a hunk of molten plastic
I mean,
for?
that is kind of video game logic, though, because that happens all the time. Like, get some rubber piping and some screws, and now you have a flamethrower.
So I've been playing, I have a shitload of items that I'm just like, how am I going to get out of a prison with these items?
Yeah.
And I haven't looked anything up, so I'm not looking at, like, a crafting guide. I'm literally just, like, old school adventure game logic, just being like, this to this, nothing. This to this, nothing. Just saying, like, I'm on very easy, which just means, like, hey, I'm not getting beat up that much. But at the same time, I'm just like, I still have not made any progress in, like, even coming up with a plan to escape prison.
Yeah.
But that was one of the games I started. That's all I'll say about
Okay, yeah. Before we get into other games, you know, I just wanted to mention that you just barely got through the last week of the achievement contest.
Yep,
You tried.
4?
No, 3.
Was it 3?
I was taking screenshots on my phone of like every minute that it was ticking down, because you know there's the timer and there's the list, and you're getting closer and closer to the cutoff, and you made it by 3 TA points, which is nothing. You were right above the cutoff. Exactly. If one other person would have just had a change in one of their achievements, not even get a new achievement, you would have been out of the contest. And I know that you were probably like hoping.
You sent me the text, I think, that was just like, you're gonna be
you were 18 away with 30 minutes to go.
Yeah. And I was just like, I think it was 4th of July weekend.
It was. I think it was 4th of July.
It might have been 4th of July, and I'm just like, at a picnic.
Barbecue.
I'm just like, I'm not gonna make it home. Whatever.
Yeah. Because
it
was too late to use like a boost or something, and I know you probably wouldn't have done that anyways.
And so I looked when I got home, and I'm like, oh, I went on. I'm still in. Those 18 points must have held up.
Yeah.
That's great. I think this week I'll be even closer.
Yeah. But yeah, like you wanted the achievement to be over so you could, you know, not play games basically. And I kind of wanted
true.
Well, just not have to play.
Yes.
And I wanted the achievement contest to be over for myself so I could play the games that I wanted to play, because I'm doing the opposite. I'm holding back. I'll play for like, you know, an hour or two a week, and then I have to sit and be like, I can't get any more achievements this week, so I just can't play any of the fun new games that I have. So I just decided to go the opposite with it.
Yeah, you went.
I went. I've got like over 2,000 TA points this week already.
Our team's going to survive forever as long as you continue to do it.
If I can keep that up, but I don't think I can. Like I would say I had this whole back catalog of games, because I'm like, when it gets hard, it's going to get super hard, and I think we're going to have to get like 10,000 TA points a week. But for like the last 6 months, we've gotten by with like 200 to 300 TA points tops a person.
Yeah.
And so like that's why it was like, okay, maybe I should just play it. By the time it gets hard, there's going to be
Fallout 4 will be out.
Exactly. There's going to be 1,000 new games out. It's going to be like, you know, the fall where there's like thousands of games. So I just decided, hey, I'm just going to play now however I want, and if I'm in it, great. If I'm not, whatever.
No. That's the smart way to do it.
Yeah.
As opposed to me It's like, it's Friday, I gotta go get some achievements.
But the fact that we're still in this after 6 months is kind of impressive. I mean,
Yeah,
it was easier than I thought it was going to be.
When we signed up, my thought was like, if we make it 2 months, like that'll be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we had everything set up because we didn't know, and like we got a bunch of achievements that first day. So yeah, the first week, and I went back and looked, we got over 8,000 TA points. Which, like I said, we're now in month 6, and we only have to get 200 to make the cut.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we got that much the first day, and now I'm kind of like, I wish we would have saved those achievements for now. But now it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have saved them, I'd still be playing Grand Theft Auto 4.
Right.
Pretty happy I didn't save them. Don't want to keep playing the game.
No.
I still have 1 achievement left.
You're saving it?
No.
Is it worth 1,000 points?
It requires
or you just don't want to play anymore?
It requires me to double box. Or to
yeah.
set up sessions to essentially just do kills for 2 hours.
I'm expecting at some point the basement in your new house is just going to be like 16 TV screens and like 14 PlayStations. And
it's
like
2 TVs right now.
Yeah.
But my old 360, I'm finally calling it kaput.
Oh yeah?
It won't
turn
read
on
discs. It turns on. It opens the tray.
So
I can
if
play.
You have downloadable games, that'll work fine.
I can play downloadable games. I put a disc in. It takes, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes of me like opening the drive, like rearranging the disc, trying to blow out dust.
Changing the temperature in the room.
Yeah, change temperature. Like I'm tilting the Xbox at weird angles for it to like register. It takes me like 15, 20 minutes.
Burn
Now
incense.
I'm at the point where like I just bring the Xbox downstairs. It's quicker for me to unplug and replug everything in between the 2 rooms that just keep going up and downstairs than to just try and get the downstairs Xbox working. So I was like, there goes my dream of double boxing Grand Theft Auto. So that achievement sits for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because that was a big plan. When I moved, I knew the setup was happening.
Right.
I'm like, then I'll be able to double box. Have the system downstairs on, connected, have the system upstairs, and then I don't need to like take turns.
Right.
2-hour kill session can just be my main profile.
Right.
But now that doesn't work. I even have 2 copies of Grand Theft Auto 4. Do you want a copy?
I got a copy,
You want
unfortunately.
a second copy?
Yeah. Maybe I'll double box.
Yeah.
That'll make you really upset if I get that achievement before you.
You know how many hours it takes?
Probably 100.
Takes over 100 hours
Yeah.
of just doing online multiplayer.
Just boosting. Could you imagine if you got that legitimately?
Well, here's the thing, and this is a side talk that has turned into way too long already.
Yeah.
But like originally when the game was out, they'd have like double XP weekends, like Rockstar does that. Now they don't have any. So like, granted, if you played double XP weekends, maybe it'd take you 50 hours.
Right.
But yeah, now it's just like me and Guy, we did it every week for like 2 months, and we're now like, you have to get rank 10.
Yeah.
We're like rank 8.
Right.
And that was like 2 months
and it gets
straight.
exponentially harder each time.
Yeah, because it goes from like, first you need 1 million to 2 million. Now it's like you go from like 15 million to like 45 million.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck this game so much.
Yeah.
I'm only getting like 300,000 every 2 hours.
It's bad enough when they put multiplayer in games that should not have multiplayer, but then to do something like that, to literally force you to play for thousands of hours just because they know they don't have a lot of content and just want people to keep playing it, is so awful.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. I played Thomas Was Alone.
Oh yeah. I'm curious to...
So I'm not going to talk about it too much because you already talked about it on the podcast.
Yes.
I wanted to post like 8,000 screenshots, all of which looked exactly the same, just had different narration under it.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't photograph well.
No.
Back when we were
obviously,
doing our pick of the day.
And you don't realize it until you look at the screenshots, and then you realize, oh, the playable space is like just the middle of the screen. Everything else is just black, and there's like one line going somewhere else.
And you're just like, well, and you can't really tell what character I am.
But I will say, yes, it was simple, and it was like hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah.
And the story was I gave an A for the story, the written story, and A+ for the narration. He could not have done that narration better.
Yeah.
So, in case you're not familiar, in case you hadn't heard the other episodes, but Thomas Was Alone is I'm not going to say too simple, but it is a puzzle-based game. Some of them are small and short. You take little different colored boxes, each of which have a different ability to solve puzzles. You know, some you can bounce on, some float in water, some are upside down or stuck in the ceiling, and you find a way to use multiple ones to get each character to their designated little outline. So just simply as a puzzle game, I thought it was interesting. It was fun. I kept trying to separate the story from the actual gameplay, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to look into it, but I didn't have time to see whether or not they just made this game and then wrote a story for the gameplay, or if they were made in conjunction. I'm sure there was some tweaking here and there. But then, while this is happening, this guy is telling the story of these little block characters. They all have names. They all have very distinct personalities.
Which is amazing for
a
block.
And, like, I mean, everyone says that plays this game, but, like, they make you care about little colored blocks. They really do. Like, you care about what's happening to them, what's going on in the story, and I think they do sort of create a story out of some elements, too. I try to think of... I mean, I don't know if this is... Talking about anything is a spoiler.
It's fine.
But when that little sort of black cloud comes and takes one guy away, in the story... You're terrified when that happens, and you think that character has died. Yeah. But if I was just playing it normally as a puzzle game without any narration, I would think, oh, maybe I did something good.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're at the next level, right?
For a puzzle.
Yeah, maybe I completed that, and that's the thing. Or just like there's that one time where there's that huge glowing ray of light and little different pixels that if you look closely, you're actually different images and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is apparently the internet. He got connected to the internet for 12 seconds. And so just things like that where it's like, yes, there definitely elements in the gameplay, but I would never have made that conclusion without the narration.
No.
And I will say there's a character named Chris, and he's kind of a dick until he gets a girlfriend, and then he's kind of a nice guy.
Yeah.
He gets more redeemable as time goes on.
Yep. And you're just like, man... That's me.
Well,
That's
yeah.
Me
like they all. Not only do they have distinct personalities, but they have relationships with each other. Like the one guy has a girlfriend, the other guy has a nemesis. The one guy is like an evil guy that's trying to kill the other ones.
Yeah.
Just things like that. It's just so much fun. And so I don't know if you played. There was 2 extra chapters.
Yeah,
that got released that are prequels.
A son and his dad.
Yeah.
And then that was the jetpack one.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was
kind of fun.
Another one,
which some of the other characters, but it was like it took place before the first.
Okay, yeah. I played them both.
But yeah, there's 100 levels standard in the normal story, and then there's an extra 20 levels. So there's 120 if you get like the. I guess on the Xbox One version, I'm sure the PC
comes with it now.
Yeah. Man, it's really good. Like you said, I highly recommend it. Doesn't take that long to play. The puzzles were, I thought, fun and interesting and challenging, but there was never one that I got stuck or frustrated and be like, oh, I gotta look it up on the internet.
Yeah,
like,
you always knew what you had to do. It was more just about executing.
Yeah.
Like there's never a time when you play the game and you're just like, what the fuck, man? Like what do I do here? You're just like, oh, I gotta get up there and I think I just need to make this jump.
Yeah.
Or I need to bring this piece over to jump on this piece to get up there.
Right.
Like, it was more of just, like, maneuvering to figure it out as opposed to just, like, I give up. Internet me.
Right. And it like, a couple times I had the moment of, like, now you're thinking with portals. Yeah. Which is, like, once you sort of use these little characters enough, you understand, like, oh, if I need to jump up there and I can't get up high enough, I'm going to have the inverted guy just slide out a little bit and use him as a ledge and jump on. Just things like that. Like, there's, like, a little, like learning curve, and once you figure it out, then you can like see all these other possibilities.
We could discuss this even more, but obviously I've already discussed it now. But just like once you learn the characters, like that's what's so great is all these characters are separate, but then like you kind of learn to use them individually, and that's what's great. And you're just like, I know this puzzle. I need Claire.
Right.
I know this puzzle. I need Chris. You know, you're just like, you immediately go to like, yes, I need upside down guy right here.
Right.
So I think that was great. Is it's like, besides the fact that the story and the narration is great, like for having blocks, you're just like, yes, this fits perfectly with this, and like you said, like now you're thinking of portals where you're just like, yeah, now I know how to get up there because I'm so good at using these characters together.
Yeah. Some of the achievements are fun too. The pink long flat character who you can bounce on, her name is Laura. Mm-hmm. She's self-conscious that people just use her to jump on her. And she's also upset that everybody always leaves her after they jump on her. But if you jump on her 100 times, the achievement's called Part of the Problem, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. There's other funny things like that. Also, there was an achievement for dying 100 times.
Yeah, there's that one on the PC.
And I completed the story actually 1.5 times because I had a problem with my game save where I played up until like 95 95 out of 100. And when I came back, it was at 6-3, so I had to play that again. But I played through the entire story, and I only had 46 deaths. So I had to then boost deaths.
Well, like did the bonus ones count for you?
The extra
deaths?
2...
like when you were playing the bonus story.
Yeah, but I hadn't played them yet.
Okay,
so after the credit, because the credits roll after the 100th level.
Yeah,
and then you still have 2 more to do to get the achievement of completing the game.
Yeah,
but between those 2, I just killed. I just
I would say like the jetpack.
I just jumped
levels,
onto spikes. You die a lot.
There was one in like the jetpack level. I can't remember. I think you're going up.
Yeah,
and like obviously like the spikes are moving and stuff like that. Where, I die like 10 times that level or 15 times a level or something like that. But yeah.
But yeah, the puzzles were fun. When I completed them, I felt satisfied, but never like, oh yeah, I'm super smart. Or if I couldn't figure out one out, I was like, oh, I'm dumb. Like I think it was a good, like middle ground of challenging but not difficult and not super easy. So yeah, get it if you can.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, only takes a couple hours to complete, but I think it's worth it. And you do like kind of want to go back after you complete the story and like play the first like level or the first.
You talking about it again just now is just like, yeah, I could go play Tom Swizzle Alone right now.
Yeah,
I go start that.
I'm sure it's a great game to just sit there and listen to while somebody else plays too.
Yeah, I mean that's Caitlin's experience. It was just like she watching it kind of gave her like a little dizziness, like because sometimes the levels are kind of skewed weird and
right. Yeah, you can get like motion sickness because you're not actually controlling it.
Yeah. So like she couldn't just like stare and watch it. Like I was gonna have her play through the entire game before I did even because I was like, oh, this is a game that. You can play. It's just jumping. You can die a million times. Like there's no big deal. Like there's the no consequence.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this would be perfect for you. She played maybe like the first 4 levels, and she's like, I can't actually
control.
Keep playing.
Yeah.
She's like, if I play, it's gonna have to be like super short increments. I'm like, well, I'll just play, and then you can just listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that narrator though. Last thing I'll say, just sells it. You take that narrator out, or you replace him with someone else.
Yeah.
Not nearly as great as it is,
and it really just emphasizes the point that like great story and great voice acting elevates everything so much.
Yeah.
You play anything else?
Yeah.
Do you not want to talk about it? Or?
No, I also continued my Final Fantasy playthroughs. Started the next one in line.
Which one are you at?
I am at truth be told, I had to skip 3 because my original version would not allow me to save it. So I skipped 3, started 4, played through 4, so now I'm back on 3. So technically I'm playing my 4th game, but it's the 3rd one.
Yeah.
I had to buy an actual updated version. My only interesting little tidbit is that the original game and this game have different stories. Like when they did the remake, this is like technically it's a remake for 3DS, but it's on PC. Playing it on PC. The original game, you start with all 4 characters. They're unnamed. It's just the class they are, like fighter, mage, blah blah blah. This game, they're just like, no, we're gonna have individual characters, and still the same gameplay. So you start as like an actual named character, and it's one character, and then you're going through the game and you're finding the other characters that join your team, and they all have personalities. And blah blah blah. So they did a little minor tweaking. Granted, you still get all 4 characters within the first 2 dungeons, so it's not like they really kind of handicapped you.
Right.
But yeah, good stuff. I like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy.
Are you playing anything else?
No, those are my only 2, Escapists and Final Fantasy. In addition to, I beat Turok last night.
You did? The story mode?
Story mode.
But you're still like 1,000 achievement points away from
I will have to beat it on super hard.
Yeah. How was it?
Oh my god, wow, they really tied it together at the end.
No, not like, how How was the experience? Not the story, obviously. The story's bad.
Yeah.
Was the gameplay so awful that you just don't want to play anymore?
I don't
like
want to...
how awful is it from like, I don't know, like Perfect Dark Zero being...
Oh, God. It's worse than Perfect Dark Zero.
Okay.
Playing it.
Yeah.
I have more fun with Perfect Dark Zero because Perfect Dark Zero is more of a puzzle to me.
Yeah.
That there are parts where I'm just like, okay, how do I get past this? I'm like, oh, okay, like, here's how I'm going to do it. Turok was just like...
You can't play through the story cooperatively, right?
In Turok?
No.
Turok
that would make it slightly better.
Yes. Turok instead was just like, if I got stuck at a part, it wasn't like, how do I get past this? It's just like, I fucking hate this game.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I have to shoot better. Like, that's the only puzzle in Turok. The last head boss fight's hard. You fight a giant T-Rex.
But it's not like impossible. It's not like hard because it's super hard or because the game's broken hard.
Yes. Both of those.
Okay.
You have to... It's not a cheat because you can't cheat and get an achievement.
Yeah.
But you have to scam the system. You fight a giant T-Rex.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
No.
You don't have any weapons to start off. Yeah. All the weapons are scattered across the level. The T-Rex moves quicker than you, even with your knife out.
So it's like impossible to get to any weapons.
So like you have
or
to
evade.
There's a box in the middle, a box that the T-Rex can't move, like a big enough box.
Yeah.
So basically, what you have to do is you have to get a weapon, run to that box, just keep running in circles because like the T-Rex doesn't have a good enough turning radius to outrun you.
And he can't grab you with his little arms.
So you just keep running around a circle, and then when you have like an opening, you get some shots in, but then you have to keep doing it. And then like when you run out of ammo, you have to like make sure the T-Rex is on the opposite side of the box to where you're going to run, because you have to run away from that box, get the next gun, get back over there. It took me about like 10 to 12 tries.
Yeah.
What's broken about it is that when the T-Rex hits you, you fall to the ground. After it hits you, it does like a growl, like, to scare you.
Yeah.
That growl automatically knocks you to the ground again, and then on the third hit, it's an automatic kill. You only get 3 hits against the T-Rex if it hits you. So you get caught, whatever, knocks you to the ground. Before you can get up, it growls at you, so you don't even do a full stand animation to run before you get knocked down again. And then at that point, the T-Rex is done with its growl animation and going for bite animation. And 99% of the time, it's going to hit you with that.
Yeah.
And then it's a kill. So like getting hit once is pretty much game over. Which I can't wait to play it on Impossible.
Super hard? Yeah. Alright, well, the other game that I played this week, which I spent most of my week playing, was Batman Arkham Knight. I've played so much of it, I don't even know what to talk about. I'm like 80% of the way through the story right now. I've completed 13 of the 14 side missions to 100% completion.
Okay.
So I'll just say from the beginning, though.
From the top.
From the top, I'm just going to list the entire thing, everything that happens in the game, and how I feel about each element.
Yeah. It'll be like I was there.
It starts off, so the entire game takes place on Halloween night. I think Arkham City took place during Christmas.
Okay.
But anyways, it all takes place at one night. Arkham Asylum did too, but it didn't really matter because you were in one closed location, so there wasn't like streamers out for like a 4th of July party in the break room of Arkham Asylum.
Should have been.
But it starts off with a first-person view. You are a cop that goes into a diner.
Oh, was this the Sony press conference?
This was the press conference, yeah. This is what they showed. So if you saw that, you've already seen it. But being in the first-person perspective and like the gameplay and just the way the world is built, the design they've chosen for this version of Gotham, which is like there's Art Deco, but then there's also like elements from like the 50s and early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But it just really I really want them to either make a BioShock type game in the Batman universe, or for Rocksteady, now that they're done with Batman, is to make a BioShock game. Like there was even guys with like masks on in there because it's supposed to be Halloween, and just the way it all just felt sort of like
very
BioShock. and just the sort of brokenness of Gotham and that Art Deco style, and like as the game progressed, there was a lot of other elements too that I thought were influenced by BioShock. But yeah, that would be really great, because I mean, like the people that made BioShock originally, that company doesn't really exist anymore.
Nope.
Ken Levine has moved on to supposedly new IPs.
Yeah,
so
he's going to work in the smaller scale.
You know 2K is going to make another BioShock at some point, because that's really their only moneymaker other than like sports.
Yep.
And I don't want, just some random company that's never really made a decent game to do it. So it would be great if Rocksteady could do that. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be fantastic if they did.
Rumor on the street is Rocksteady is going to do a Superman game.
Really?
Yeah.
If anyone could probably do it right, it would be them.
Yeah, my concern, and this isn't true or not,
yeah.
like I can't,
it's just,
obviously we can't verify, it's just like, I feel like that they would take too much of Batman and just like put Superman in there.
Put like a Superman skin on it?
Yeah, just like, okay, as opposed to now doing the grappling hooks, you can fly, but, it's still going to be a town full of bad guys, and you just land on the ground and you punch people, and then...
Well, if Bruce Timm is doing it, who's the guy that wrote these, he's the one that... Because he wrote Batman comics, he did the animated series, that's why they borrowed a lot of the voice actors from it and stuff like that. If he does it, I feel like he would at least make a story that was true to Superman.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's whether or not they can figure out all the mechanics and do all this other stuff, too. I don't know. I feel like I said, if anyone can do it, it could be them. I have faith. I'm optimistic that they could do it. I don't know if I want a Superman game, personally. I'm not super into Superman.
No.
And it's a lot less interesting than the Batman Arkham.
Yeah, because you're a
world.
guy that's unbeatable besides
right,
kryptonite.
and it's like you're flying around. I know Batman glides a lot, but it's like you're flying, you got laser vision, you got all these other things. Batman's fun because it's like, one, you're a detective. Two, like, it's all about stealth with him and using gadgets and like all that other stuff. Like Superman, you just fly around and you can get shot by a tank in the face and it wouldn't matter. So there's like no stakes there. Plus the enemies aren't as interesting.
They'd have to make it a way where it's just like Superman's weak, and so normal damage can kill him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they have to make like every character has a kryptonite gun, and that's stupid too. But anyway, back to Batman.
Yeah, just I don't want to get into spoilers. One, because this is a newer game, and two, you haven't played any of the series yet, so saying anything would sort of spoil some of the stuff.
Spoiler.
I know that.
Well, don't spoil it for everyone.
Okay,
well, fine. You already spoiled it for everyone. So, I mean, I want to talk about but I can't. In this game a lot.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's because
the
Scarecrow used the and that is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might cut that stuff out because that's kind of spoilery.
No, I mean, like, I will say that I've watched a couple things on it that are non-spoilers, and like that's because it's like a major part. Like, don't spoil who the Arkham Knight is.
No, I don't even know yet because I haven't gotten to the end of the game.
Oh, okay.
But to get away from that, you get to play as a bunch of different characters in the game too. You play as like Azrael. You play as Commissioner Gordon. You also, there's that sort of dual play fighting system where you can switch between two characters while you're fighting. That works great. That works seamlessly. It works awesome. So basically there's like, big room, you're fighting 30 guys, and it's like, you and Catwoman, and once you build up, there's certain like fight meters you build up. One is for like special moves or like enders, and then also you're building up a
combo meter.
Yeah, like a tag team sort of meter where it's like, okay, once I fill that up, then I can use the tag team move and it will take out one guy. It's this cool like animation, and then it switches to that second character. That all works very well. I was really excited to do that. And like I said, you get to play as a lot of different characters. There's Batman, there's Catwoman, there's Robin, there's Nightwing, there's Azrael. Like, you get to always play as these different characters, and that's a lot of fun. They all have their unique gadgets and special
Nightwing
moves.
Robin?
Yeah, like we talked about this a while ago. Nightwing is one of the Robins that grows up and then basically becomes Batman of Bloodhaven.
Oh yeah. We said because Batman always wants little boy toys around.
Right.
Yeah,
well, so basically, he got old enough and he had enough skills that he decided to go to Bloodhaven, which is another town, and he became the Batman of Bloodhaven, and that's who Nightwing is. So then Batman replaced Robin with a newer, fresher, young Robin,
more virgin Robin.
But in this game, they're kind of the same age.
Okay.
And like I said before a while ago, there was a Robin that died in between that. Also, there was a cool moment. If you read The Killing Joke, one of the famous Batman comics, where it has the Joker paralyzes Barbara Gordon and puts her in a wheelchair, you get to see that moment in this game too, which is pretty cool. There's a ton of Easter eggs, obviously.
If you're a Batman fan, you could just say
everything is really an Easter egg if you think about it.
Yeah.
But so much in one of there's 3 main islands. In one of the islands, there's a Lex Luthor, LexCorp building. He also leaves you a voicemail. If you go and listen to your voicemails when you go into Wayne Tower, there's a bunch of people that call you and leave messages for Bruce Wayne there.
Sure.
Also, I think there's a reference to Superman at one point. Oliver Queen also. Just a bunch of things. I don't need to get into it. What I actually wanted to talk about, though, was the fighting and everything. They kind of throw you in after all these intros where you kind of play as different characters, see different things. You're just Batman on the top of the city. You can go everywhere. Gliding's fun. What's new to this game is the Batmobile, right? So they sort of built the entire city around the use of the Batmobile, which is actually good. I thought it was going to sort of mess up going around buildings and gliding and stuff like that, but it really doesn't. Batmobile, it's good. It is fun to drive. It has acceleration and has you can dodge left and right when you're racing, and the racing elements are fun because if there's a car chase or something like that, you can do the cool slam somebody into the wall, and it does the slow motion crash it's like a Burnout game or something. So that's fun. Also, there's the tank mode where if you hold the left trigger, it transforms into a tank, and then you can sort of strafe left and right, and you have access to all these different weapons. All of that is really fun too. It's funny if you run over somebody, it electrocutes them because you're not supposed to kill them, so it just kind of shocks them across the way.
Batman doesn't kill anybody.
But I mean, Batman
even if he's going 95 miles an hour, and
I know,
he hits
right?
a man dead on.
But
just shocks him first, knocks him out.
Characters will react to you. They're like, "Oh God, it's the Batman! Get out of here!" And they're driving cars around too. Sometimes they'll freak out and drive the other way. Sometimes they'll try to run into you. Just the whole world feels very organic and lived in and fun. Also, there's Riddler informants that are around all the time because they're kind of making fun of the fact that he's creating all these really complicated traps and setups. He has to have people doing those things for him, so you randomly will track down people that helped him set up his traps and get information out of him. Then it shows on your minimap oh, here's all the Riddler trophies or things like that. So you get to interrogate them. So if there's a big group of guys, you got to kill all of them or knock them out, and then interrogate them. If you knock them out, you can't get information from them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't want to cooperate, and you have to beat them some. I don't know if you saw the one screenshot that I tweeted, but Batman's at the end of his rope in this game. He starts off and he's already at 11. He doesn't try to talk calmly to somebody. If they don't respond, maybe he'll grab their neck, maybe he'll punch them once or twice. The second he sees somebody, he grabs them and throws them under the wheel of his Batmobile and slowly crushes their head until they give information.
Sure.
He wants to get to the point right away. There's other stuff he's dealing with.
I feel like they should have just let Batman kill people. If he's at the end of his rope, and I know why he's at the end of his rope.
Well,
yeah, but I'm saying just let him. Don't go out of your way, because I think a lot of the stuff that I've read about it are mainly just joke articles where just they're going so far out of their way to make
not
sure
kill somebody
that someone isn't dead, and they're oh no, his car shocks them and pushes them away so that they can't die. Just you know what? Just leave it as it is, but just don't over-explain things where it's just no, they're totally alive. They're all going to go to the hospital.
Well, they don't say those things or whatever.
No, I know not in the game, but I mean the people who made the game.
Well, because Batman's whole thing is that he doesn't kill people.
I know, but just let him.
And that's supposed to be such an internal struggle that he has all the time, especially in this game where it's things are getting really, really bad, and
Yeah.
every time you do something.
So let
and so
Batman-
like that's supposed to be like your struggle, being like, I can't do it. I can't become a bad guy. If I kill somebody, I'm not better than any of them.
That would be a great plot to deal with. If all of a sudden Batman, who is already unhinged,
Yeah.
kills somebody.
Well, that's what the whole comic book of Killing Joke is about.
Yeah.
Is that he ends up killing the Joker at the end of that because he has to.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he's going to keep killing people, and he's going to kill me, he's going to kill other people. I have to... It's like a mercy killing to make sure that it prevents other deaths.
Let him kill a thug.
And just
kill
by
a thug.
accident...
Sure.
Like, oh, shit.
Kick a thug off the building or something
Yeah.
like that, and then, like, he dies, and then Batman's
Well,
just
no,
like,
I mean, you're constantly... In real life, you're constantly killing hundreds of people.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
All
but,
the
like,
time.
But then, I guess my whole point is, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect gameplay at all, or
Right.
anything like that. It's just, like, just go into this game and just be like, yeah, this is Batman at the edge of the rope, of his rope. He doesn't necessarily spare people. Just be like, okay. Great, that's all I need to know. Batman could kill someone in this game.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, no. He gives everyone sleeping pills after he punches them in the throat a million times.
Well, they're bad guys.
Yeah.
They were all bad.
And they're all napping peacefully.
Yeah.
Even though you're running over Marcus.
Yeah, the only thing... Yeah, running over them in the car is the only thing that's, like, borderline. Also, you're constantly shooting tanks and things like that, but they're just unmanned drones.
Or when cars blow up.
I'm always trying to kill people, though, because if you shoot... Like, you transform into tank mode, and if you shoot any of your weapons, if you're aimed at a civilian or something, or a person,
it diverts.
It shoots a beanbag at them that knocks them out. Well, it's actually fun too. If you're in combat near the Batmobile, you can use it for assist, like you would like a duel with another character.
Then you switch to the...
No, like you do a thing where you like uppercut them in the air, and then the tank will shoot a beanbag in their face out of the air and knock them out. It's pretty fantastic. But yeah, I try to shoot things around them. I try to blow up a car and see if it'll kill the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, technically they can never die, but
Yeah.
that's not even one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Sure. Sorry.
But just also like I said, just the world feeling organic is like you can be driving around and like two bad guys will be following a cop car and you have to like save the cop car or something. Like you don't have to do it, but you can, and they'd be like, "Thanks, Batman," things like that.
We should be here.
It's like they integrated the Batmobile throughout. Even the Riddler has special like Batmobile intensive things to follow. Like I guess they're trials. So you have the normal like find all the trophies or find all the clues and things like that. But then also you do like specific like, hey, go do this racetrack or solve this puzzle using part of the Batmobile and yourself. Like, and even the Riddler trophies have that, so that's really good. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny too, when you capture like a bad guy, like a main bad guy or a supervillain or something, you throw them in the back of the Batmobile, and two little jump seats come out, and it looks like the Batman roller coaster seats, which is a nice little... I don't know if it's intentional or not.
Probably not.
Probably not, but it's pretty great. And then you have the fun drive of driving them back to the police department.
But they're talking the whole time.
Yeah, you have a conversation half the time, and that's always fun too.
Yeah.
And the Gotham City Police Department is set up really cool too. So when you first walk in at the beginning of the game. There's a whole bunch of holding cells. There's also like maximum security and stuff. It's a nice little hub world. And you sort of see like what you have to do basically, because at the end of it, it's all gonna be filled up. So like, okay, every time you do knock out all these two-faced thugs, then they show up. Next time you go to the police department, they're there now. Or like, you have to personally escort some of the supervillains there. They're now in the holding cells. You can then always have conversations with them. Sometimes they give you other missions.
Yeah.
But it's fun to just see that sort of fill up. Like at first it's fun to walk in and everything's blank and you're like, okay, I got a lot of work cut out for me tonight. I know by the end of this it's going to be full. And like you'll be like, sometime like I captured the Penguin and when I walked him past all the Penguin thugs, they were like, conversing back and forth, just like, shouting things at each other. And then like when you can throw bad guys in the same cells together, they'll talk too. So that's all fun. That's so good. Also, there's like an evidence room that's basically like a museum, like from the older games, like stuff you stole from supervillains and stuff. And like it's got like you can like push a little button and it does a little voiceover, like, hey, this was from, Mr. Freeze, and it's this freeze ray and all this other stuff, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of other there's so many characters in this game. Everybody has a name. You can always walk over and talk to them. They all have their own story. Like I rescued this firefighter, and he was the cousin of one of the guys that I had talked to in the police office. So they had like a little back and forth sort of thing. Just things like that. Side quests. There's a lot of side quests that are fun. They either have to deal with either supervillains or other things. There was one of the ones I got early on was I had to solve this cases of there's a serial killer around town. That was awesome. That was fun. It's fun anytime like you feel like a detective. They do plenty of things in the game that make you feel like a detective because that's supposed to be his thing. World's greatest detective. But like I use my detective mode to like see if they had any like broken bones or tattoos or like whatever. And sometimes you would like you needed a handprint to get past a sensor, so you would go back and watch video and see where the guy would like touch different things, and then you'd walk in the room and get different fingerprints, and then make just things like that.
Yeah.
Just was fun. You recreate crime scenes. You follow paths. You do things. You feel like a detective. It's fun.
Do you think? Well, two questions.
Yeah.
One, do you think that there is the right amount of side quests, or do you think at some point they're just like, hey, there are an awful lot of these? Because I know like in the earlier Batman games, granted I haven't played them, there's 100 Riddler trophies or whatever, and people...
It's 243 this time.
Yeah, well, and back then people were like, hey, 100's a lot for me to just go search and find.
Yeah, because not only are you have to find them, they're all tied into puzzles, almost all of them.
Yeah. So, like, now that there's 243, are you just like, hey, maybe I don't need 243 of these, and I also save firefighters and all this stuff?
I don't think there's too many. I actually wish there was a lot more. Especially because, like, the first Arkham game, Arkham Asylum, it was all about the villains, right?
Yeah.
There was a bunch of villains there. They all had their stories, whether they were small or big. This one there's only a handful of them, and it's kind of just the heavy hitters. Also, then there's a couple, like, and things like that. But one of the problems is you've kind of dealt with most of them up in the series to this point. So like, okay, Deadshot's probably not going to come back in the game because you dealt with him in Arkham City.
Yeah.
But they do a good way of managing it time wise. Like some of them happen story wise. Like okay, you got to wait until you get to chapter 6 before this unlocks. But also they put up gates so it's not like okay, I unlocked the serial killer thing. I'm going to play it from start to finish right now in an hour. You can't do that because they put up limits to that.
Okay.
For that specifically is like, okay, every once in a while, Alfred will be like, hey, like we found a new body. That or you can happen to find it, in the world. But I got all the bodies and found out where his lair was, but I couldn't yet get to his lair because I didn't have access to that island yet. Like I couldn't bring my Batmobile there.
Yeah.
Same thing like, okay, there'll be a bunch of... enemies will place like mines in the ground, okay, and those whole things are this old like okay, you put a virus in it, then you defend it from tanks, and then you blow it up, sort of thing, and like it's like every couple of hours they add more of those, so you might be able to wipe up the map of them, and then a couple hours later there'll be more. Both like if you hit chapter points and an hour of real gameplay is when they add new things. I was setting all these firehouses on fire. And I couldn't just go do them all at once. I had to wait for him to go then do another one. So I felt like I was constantly just doing one or two side missions while I was then focused on the main story. Like I never felt like, oh, if I can't just do the story start to finish because then it'll lock all these side missions, or oh, I can't just make sure I go around and kill all the drones real quick. Then won't have any more drones for the rest of the game. I wish there was more, just because I want there to be like all the villains and all the different stuff and all the different side missions. And like the Riddler too, specifically to talk about that because you brought it up for a second. So there's Riddler trials. So basically, he has kidnapped Catwoman and she has an explosive like collar on, and so you have to go do trials around the city. Once you unlock the trial, then it's like okay, you have your Batmobile, you take it somewhere in the city, you complete whether it's a race. Okay, well the races are fun. So the race, you have control over a button that can swap the different things, like walls will come down, spikes will open up, and you constantly have to be swapping them, like so you don't run into stuff. So you sort of have semi-control over this while you're also trying to beat the clock, and you have to do 3 laps, and every time you do a lap it gets harder and different. So that's fun and interesting. Once you do that, then it unlocks like this grid. It's like a little puzzle, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to switch to Catwoman to solve the puzzle where she is being held captive. When she does that, she gets a key to unlock, one less. She has 9 lives, obviously, on her collar, and you have to do 9 different stuff. Once you unlock a couple of those, then a door opens up in the place that she's being held, and Batman has to go back there, and then the two of them solve a puzzle together, and then they have to do a big combat fight together, too. And then you get another key. And so that keeps going on. So, just the Riddler stuff basically has every element of gameplay in it. Just doing that, you got your Batmobile stuff, you have your combat stuff, you have your puzzle solving stuff. So all of that seems like a lot, but it was fun. I would just do Riddler stuff. If you came out with Riddler DLC, I'd do that forever.
Okay.
So I just want more of everything in this game. I just want them. I know they're not going to make another Batman game. Just come out with DLC for this game forever. There's a thing they're doing called Arkham Stories. Which is so far it's only been pre-order stuff. Yeah. So Harley Quinn came with if you pre-ordered it. Also, the Red Hood came if you got it from GameStop or something. And so I haven't played that yet. I was waiting to do the story, but I guess they're half an hour's. You get to play as those characters, and it's just whatever, Also, so they just announced the Batgirl DLC. So you get to play as Batgirl. It's obviously a prequel, and I'm not sure how long it is. But you get to play as Batgirl. She has her own story. She has all this other equipment and all this other fun stuff you can do.
So it sounds like you just don't really care for this game.
Yeah, I would just play this game forever. I want there to be more. In 3 or 4 days, I've gotten to, I said, 80% of the story, and almost all the side missions are done. And sure, I played it a lot, but I just want to play this game forever.
Okay.
It's so good. It is so good. I love being Batman. The whole time, even from the beginning, I was just making up songs. I know there's already Batman songs. There's plenty of Batman songs, but I'd just be singing about what I was doing, making gadgets and fist pumping the whole time. It's fun to play as Batman.
Is this the best Batman game? Is this better than City?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Asylum?
This is better than City. They improved on everything that happened, I feel in the City. This is certainly the natural evolution of, the combat and all this other stuff. Not to get into the details, especially because you haven't played, but just all the new variations or new things you can do in the combat is great. Arkham Asylum was great just because it was...
The first?
It was the first one. It was very focused. It was okay, you were confined and it was very linear, but that was okay back And this game I think is better just because it's so open world, it's so organic, it looks great. It's nighttime and raining on Halloween the whole time. That's fantastic. If there was more supervillains in this, I would say this was hands down the best one. But it's hard you can't beat that first game. All the design of all the characters is fantastic. Yeah. All that stuff. In this game, at some point...
You're saying this is second, but a very close second.
I don't know. I think they are both on the same shelf. Or they're both on the same tier, but next to each other. For different reasons.
But which one's closer to the games. Xbox?
I don't know. I would have to go back and play Arkham Asylum again. Okay. It's been a long time. I could talk about this forever. I won't. I will just say there is a new upgrade system in this game now that sort of has light RPG elements. Anytime you get enough P to level up, or anytime you do a side mission, one tick of the side mission, you get a Wayne Tech point, and then you can use that to upgrade your stuff. You can upgrade your Batsuit, your gadgets, your Batmobile, all this sort of stuff, your combat skills. And so it's before you would slowly get stuff as you play through the game. Now this is you have to pick and choose what to upgrade and when to upgrade. I don't know. I don't think there's probably not enough points to get everything. And because of that, I didn't use my first point until after I had over 50 of them saved up. Then I was getting to the point where I couldn't get past this fight because I didn't have any of the skills or armor. And then I was okay, I'll put my armor. So I'd only use things when I encountered somebody okay, I'm in a predator situation, and they have a guy that's jamming my detective vision. So okay, now I gotta upgrade. I'll upgrade that now so I can get rid of that sort of thing. I would wait. I wait until I can't do something without it, and then I'll buy it. But I still have a bunch saved up right now.
not the way to play it, but okay.
No, I know. And I'm gonna make a promise to myself that when Fallout 4 comes out, I'm not gonna play it like the other Fallout games. I'm not gonna hoard everything. I'm gonna use when I get a mini nuke. I'm gonna use it when I feel like it. I'm not gonna finish the game without ever shooting off a mini nuke because I'm saving it for a boss fight that never happens.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's even like the predator and prey stuff. So like in combat, it's like okay, you fight everybody head on. You just combos, flipping around, or the predator stuff where you like hide on gargoyles and sneak up on people. There's sort of that same element in the tank too, where there's a type of enemy that you can only shoot them from behind, and if they see you, they kill you. So you have that sort of moments where you sort of scan the area and slowly like move around, and you can shoot to lure it somewhere. So it has even the fun like both elements of human gameplay or like Batman gameplay, but in the Batmobile itself.
Cool.
But yeah, so far it's my game of the year.
I look forward to playing it in 2044.
Yeah, assuming that you've played the first two at that point.
Well,
would you ever just skip to this one and do it?
No.
Man, play the first game. What is wrong with you?
I gotta be Turok. That's first on my list.
I know.
And then after Turok, I gotta go back to Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah.
So many games.
Yeah, still haven't been Perfect Dark. Will you play DJ Hero with me? Because at some point I'd probably want to sell those.
Yeah, dude. Generator Rex.
Yeah.
Open Season 2's coming out.
Man, there's so much stuff that I haven't talked about in this game.
You will have
I will
time.
say just bullet points.
You will have time.
The Predator space is the where you like stalk people. It feels a lot more dynamic and organic. It's not as closed in. It's not like a square room with a bunch of gargoyles around. Now it'll happen like in top of the city or like other places, and it'll be new and different. The graphics are so good that like it's raining the whole time, and I would just spend time like watching the rain droplets hit Batman's head and like roll down and stuff. It's no longer like the Unreal 3 version where like if it's raining, all the characters are just really shiny, and that's how you know they're wet.
Yeah.
Like each rain droplet actually hits and makes an impact and rolls down, and there's a good seamless integration of cinematics and gameplay. It goes in and out a lot. Also, there'll be semi-quick time events that happen in the cinematic, so you always got to be on your toes. But it doesn't give you the button prompt. You just have control sometimes, which is fun. Like even that first scene where you played as the cop, you have a gun and you can choose when to shoot it. If you shoot all 5 or 6 bullets, you no longer have bullets for that scene. So that all that is just great. Good stuff. Play it if you don't have it.
I don't have it.
I know. I'm just saying to the audience.
Oh.
Get it, play it, have fun with it.
But after they beat Turok.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the DLC, but we can save that for another time. The whole $40 season pass and etc.
Yeah, well, we covered that a lot.
Yeah, but just whether or not I want to get it, sort of thing.
Well, I think we don't need to wait for an episode to know that you want more of this game.
Yeah, but I paid less than $40 for the game. So am I going to pay more than that just to get the season pass?
Yes, you will.
I'm going to wait.
You just said earlier, I want to play this game forever. I want them to keep releasing DLC in this game.
Yeah, no, I will eventually buy all the DLC. But am I going to wait for the season pass? I mean, am I going to wait for everything to be on sale? I'm going to buy things individually. Like, you think I'm going to spend $40 the second the Barbara Gordon DLC comes out, which is next week?
I think that when you hit 100% of this game, regardless of whether or not the DLC is on sale or not, you will buy that. I don't think there's a question in my mind.
Okay.
Unless, hypothetically, it takes you so long to beat this game that another game is out at that time.
The other one's always like, hey, dude, play it on hard, play it on New Game Plus. There's only one achievement for playing on New Game Plus, but there's not all those multiple playthrough achievements anymore either, so I could 100% this game by the end of the day, probably, if I wanted to.
I think you're going to.
Yeah.
Well, you're just like, get out of here. I need to play.
I need to go and play Batman. All right. Anything else?
No, I think you covered it.
Yeah. Well, I just meant in general. Do you have anything else to talk about?
Nope.
All right.
We talked about my good games.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening.
Yep.
You can find us on Twitter at NotFunPodcast. We sometimes post screenshots and let you know when we're doing Twitch streams and stuff.
Mm-hmm. They've been coming fast and furious.
Yep. Every other minute we have
new stuff up.
Yeah, it's worth following us on Twitter. I'm saying, basically.
Yeah.
Also, we got a website. This is funnymorepodcast.com. No evidence that more than 2 people have ever been there. We got a YouTube page if you want to watch the video versions of our podcast, which is less exciting than it even sounds because there's no actual, like, it's just a shot of the cover
of our
art.
homepage. Yeah.
But yeah, at some point we will do more Twitches, so get ready for that. Twitch.tv/This Isn't Fun Anymore.
I want to start twitching from my house, but I got to figure out how to
do that.
How to do that without
buy a new generation console. That'll be super easy.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing if I can port everything through my computer.
You should be able to, in theory.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
I just have to figure out the wiring. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because then I can just run it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah. No
See
sign offs.
you next time.
See you next time, fellas.
The sign off is go get Batman.
Yeah. Gotta get that Batman. Bat for me, bat for you, bat for all of us.
One of the songs you came up with?
No. My songs were a lot better. And a lot more situational.
Sure.
Spoiler.